What happened to you, Marjorie Taylor Greene? I was reliably informed that you were a right-wing extremist, and now I'm hearing from Mark Levin and others that you're a liberal.
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying.
So you've gotten pretty liberal?
No.
No,
no,
you haven't.
No, not one bit.
They kicked things off with a jab at a comment Mark Levin made calling Marjorie Taylor Greene a liberal. This stems from her stance on the Iran conflict and the U.S. involvement. Levin labels her a liberal because her anti war position leans towards what some call isolationism, which he bizarrely equates with liberalism. This is utterly ridiculous. The intellectual bullying these people use to strong arm others into ideological submission is a testament to how dishonest and cowardly some of them really are. Levin's criticism of MTG stems from her views clashing with his neoconservative war hawk agenda. Personally, I respect MTG's stance here. Since Trump took office, his pro Israel position has frustrated many America First supporters, and rightfully so. It's starting to feel like we might have been duped. We might have been misled. The idea that fake conservatives like Levin equate America First with endless intervention in Israel's wars and conflicts is absurd. Levin was never an America First advocate. Back in 2015 and 2016, he was one of Trump's loudest critics when Trump's rhetoric was at its peak of what America First was supposed to be about. Sadly, it's starting to seem like Trump's words were just that, just rhetoric, because all of those things he used to be way more comfortable and energetic um, about, speaking out about, which was corruption and even Epstein and the deep state and all these things, they seem to escape him now. My point is, Levin only supports Trump when Trump aligns with Israel's interests, which is not the same as putting America first. I'm going to put up a few quotes and tweets up from Levin 10 years ago versus now to point out this guy's hypocrisy and just to point out what a nasty guy he is. Here's a quote from Levin in 2016 where he said he'd never vote for Trump. Another tweet from April 2016, a quote where he flat out refused to support Trump in the general election. Fast forward to today, and Levin singing a different tune. He recently posted, and I quote, "Real MAGA backs President Trump in protecting America from Iran's nukes, including striking Iran's nuke sites. Fake MAGA doesn't care." I mean, come on, guys. What a brain dead take is this? By that logic, whose nukes are we targeting next? North Korea, China, Russia, Israel? Doubt it. It's just a flimsy excuse for U.S. intervention, in my opinion. And it's like, dude, we don't want to be in any more wars. We don't want anything to do with all this conflict in the Middle East. It's just, it's getting old, and they're using the same excuses to go into Iran that they've been using for the last 25 years that they used to go into Iraq and Syria and Libya and all these things. So it's just getting old. And then there's this gem from Levin about a month ago. This one is about a month ago. Despite media propaganda touting a handful of fake MAGA reprobates, real MAGA is united behind President Trump in his Iran decision. As if that doesn't just reek of propaganda itself. Like, bro, no one wants to go to war, you weirdo. Just chill out, relax. And then here's the last one and my personal favorite. Levin reposts a CBS poll claiming 94% of MAGA Republicans approve of military strikes on Iran's nuke facilities. That means Chatsworth, Torelson, Pardon Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene, No Pants Gates, and their isolationist ilk represents nobody. Wolves howling at the moon. So yeah, that was a post from Mark Levin. A CBS poll is what he used as well. A freaking CBS poll, seriously? He'd have gotten worse numbers if the poll was taken in Israel itself. CBS is a Project Mockingbird CIA aligned propaganda machine that cheered on the Afghanistan and Iraq wars. Its pro Israel bias is no secret, tied to lobbies like AIPAC and corporate interests like its parent company, Paramount Global. I mean, this place, the CIA is, I mean, to use that as a source is just totally ridiculous to me. I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but I know this is supposed to be a review of the MTG Tucker Carlson podcast, but I just have to call out the hypocrisy. Mark Levin, once a staunch anti Trump war hawk, right, is now citing CBS polls to claim MAGA supports bombing Iran. This is the same CBS that settled with Trump over a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris that slandered him. That settlement cost them $16 million for Trump's future presidential library and forced changes to their editorial standards, like releasing unedited interviews and transcripts. And this is Levin's source. The absurdity is staggering. CBS has a long-standing history of selectively reporting on Middle Eastern conflicts to align with the establishment. It's all globalist agendas favoring a certain country we won't name. And before we move on, I just want to say respectfully that these ideologies are eating away at our country from the inside out. Next clip.
Since I've become a member of Congress since 2021, we have voted on 22 resolutions for Israel, 22 of them. All kinds of resolutions, denouncing anti-Semitism, supporting Israel. We voted on 22 of those. We never vote on resolutions proclaiming great things about America or defending certain Americans or defending Americans in general. But we have voted on 22 resolutions in the House defending Israel.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says that the Congress has voted on 22 resolutions in favor of Israel since 2021, ranging from denouncing anti-Semitism to other supportive measures while neglecting issues that directly benefit Americans. And this is deeply concerning. As an American, I find it preposterous that our elected officials prioritize interests of foreign nations over the urgent needs of our own people. Our cities are crumbling, our infrastructure is outdated, our communities are struggling, and yet the focus of our leaders seems perpetually diverted to international agendas that do not directly serve the American public. This pattern of prioritizing foreign interests over domestic well-being is a key reason why so many Americans are losing faith in the two-party system. It feels as though our politicians are more beholden to foreign alliances than to the citizens they are sworn to represent. Our culture, society, and people are bearing the cost of this misalignment, and it's unsustainable. We cannot continue to pour resources and attention into resolutions that may be diplomatically significant but overshadow the pressing needs of our own nation, whether it's cutting back on foreign aid, staying out of conflict, securing our borders, or investing in education and economic opportunities for Americans. This isn't about dismissing the importance of international relations or denying the value of supporting allies. It's about demanding balance and accountability. Our leaders must prioritize the American people first, our safety, prosperity, and unity before committing to symbolic gestures or policies that primarily benefit other nations. The American public deserves a government that champions its own citizens with the same fervor it shows for foreign causes. We really do need a course correction, one that restores focus on rebuilding our nation and ensuring that our resources and resolve are invested in the future of our people. Let's proceed.
It's been a while where Republicans in the Congress are, always talking about Israel. I'm not against Israel. I've always liked Israel, so haven't really noticed it. Okay, fine. Love
Right.
Israel, love any country, whatever. But it feels like something has changed. Like why? And clearly it has for you. What is that thing?
Well, I think here's the situation. It's coming to a point where it's so obvious all the time in everyone's language, the social media posts they put out, the statements that they make. They have to proclaim Israel. They have to proclaim their faith and loyalty in Israel and how they, Israel is our greatest ally. And it's a statement that has to be made over and over and over again, to the point it's becoming like, wait a minute, what about our own country? What about our own people? And we have so many problems here in America. And we talk about this all the time. $37 trillion in debt. Just like you and I were speaking before, our kids' generations. My kids are 22, 25, and 27. And our children's generation, they can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford insurance. They can't buy a new car. They can't find a good paying job. They're living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, credit card bills stacked up. And they literally look to the future going, how am I ever going to realize the American dream? And it seems hopeless for them. But then in Congress, everyone is chasing and pursuing and proclaiming their loyalty to a foreign country. And my goodness, I have nothing against Israel. I wish them well. Exactly. I wish the people of Israel well. I wish Jewish people well. But I also wish every country well. And I want good things for everyone.
So why do you hate Israel so much?
Right?
All right. So Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson get it. They're calling out the blatant influence Israel has over our politicians and leaders. From what it sounds like, they're saying is that the links people go to show their support has gotten to the point it feels inauthentic. And average Americans who are footing the bill are fed up. We're struggling to pay rent and or cover monthly expenses, let alone buy a home and start a family. Yet our leaders seem obsessed with sending every tax dollar to Ukraine and Israel. Okay. So before we transition into the next clip, I want to point out that I have been putting screenshots and little pieces of digital information in the video to add more context to what they are talking about and what I am talking about. For instance, I'm about to throw something up, but I asked Grok, which is the AI for X, formerly known as Twitter, but I asked it how much aid the US has sent to Ukraine and Israel since 2018. And the answer was over $200 billion. So you guys can see that in the screen. I wish I would have told you guys earlier as I was going on that I was putting all this stuff in there, but this is my second video, so I'm getting better at it. I'll get better. I'll refine my skills. So now so think about, for instance, so we just talked about the 200 billion in the last since 2018 that we've sent to Ukraine and Israel. Now think about all the freaking devastation from Hurricane Helene, the wildfires in Maui, and the ones in LA, the flood that just hit Texas, all the homelessness, illegal immigration, all these things. So my point is, we need to prioritize resources here at home until we address these pressing issues, not send them to other countries and people. It doesn't make any sense. And on top of all that, housing affordability is a huge problem, like MTG pointed out. Just for a little bit of context, and again, I did add this at the time. I'll just bring them back up and put them up now. These little like digital images with this information in them, memes or whatever. From 1989 to 2022, U.S. home prices jumped from about 370,000 to 570,500. That's adjusted for inflation. Meanwhile, median household income only rose from 23,500 to 74,500. That's pushed the home price to income ratio from 3.5 to 5.8, making it a lot harder for millennials and Gen Z to buy homes. This forces many of us to delay things like starting families. All right, cool guys. So on to the next clip.
Here's what I find interesting. I don't think, well, America, if you've read Revelations, is not in Revelations.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to talk about that. And we need to say, why is America not in Revelations? And I think we could come up with all kinds of theories, but I know for a fact it's not in there because I've read that part too.
Whoa, guys. Did Marjorie Taylor Greene just say that the United States is not in the Bible? She better tread lightly. Starting to sound a little anti-Semitic there, MTG. No, I'm just kidding. But let's see what Tucker has to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think John was aware in his cave on Patmos of the United States of America.
Well, and when he was given that entire vision and shown all of that, he wasn't shown America. So there's a clear reason, and we don't know why. But I think back to this story, is Americans have been taught that they have to do whatever Israel says. And it's the secular government of Israel. The secular government should not be telling Christians in America what they should and shouldn't do with their tax dollars, with their military, and with who their allegiance should go to.
Boy, I got a lecture on Christian theology the other day from David Friedman, the former Trump ambassador to Israel. And I was like, not against David Friedman, seems smart, but like seemed a little much to be giving me a lecture about Christian theology.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack right there. Let's get into it and discuss why a guy like David Friedman, a Jewish man and Trump's previous ambassador to Israel, feels comfortable giving Tucker Carlson a lesson in Christian theology. Let's start by talking about why America's absence in the book of Revelation and the Bible is a big deal, especially in light of what Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene have been discussing. They're pointing out that the U.S. doesn't show up in biblical prophecies, which raises questions about whether America has a role in the end time scenario that many Christians, particularly dispensationalists, believe in. So what does this mean? I won't dive too deep, but here's the gist. There's this theology, what I call Schofield Bibleism, rooted in the ideas of Cyrus Schofield. It's a dispensationalist view that says God interacts with humanity in distinct phases with a literal interpretation of scripture and a special role for Israel. For these folks, supporting modern Israel is a divine mandate, tied to the belief that a third temple must be rebuilt in Jerusalem to fulfill end times prophecy. They expect a Jewish Messiah, separate from Jesus in their view, to rule during a literal 1,000-year kingdom. Now let's connect the dots. A few weeks ago, Tucker Carlson interviewed Ted Cruz. And when Tucker asked about his beliefs regarding Israel and Christian theology, Cruz said, "Those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed." That's a common dispensationalist talking point, but it's a misrepresentation of what the Bible actually says in Genesis 12:3, which refers to Abraham, not the modern state of Israel. This kind of thinking is widespread among dispensationalists, and it's shaping a lot of U.S. policy. Here's the point, and I don't want to drag this out too long, but I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. Our country is struggling for a lot of reasons, but right now our unwavering support for Israel is weighing us down. Add to that the questions swirling around things like Epstein files and other issues, and it's clear we can't keep pouring resources into both of them and us without something giving. Things have to change. I think Tucker and Marjorie are spot on for bringing this up. It challenges a narrative that's driven US policy for decades and forces us to ask tough questions about our priorities. Are we neglecting our own nation's needs? Are we misreading scripture to justify it? I'm glad they're having this conversation. I hope it gets more people thinking. I'm going to continue to roll this clip until Tucker finishes his point, but that will be all my commentary for the day. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a blessed day, guys. Peace out.
I mean, I'm not attacking. Look, Israel's doing what it thinks it needs to do. I just want to say for the 50th time, I'm not especially mad at Israel.
Not mad at Israel.
I'm mad at our leaders who don't seem to care about the United States. That's it.
And that's the problem. And that's where we are. We have this house. It's our house, the United States of America. And our elected leaders are not fully focused on our house and our problem with our children and their future. And that's why we are opening the door wide open to foreigners that have moved to the United States of America and profess insane socialist and communist views. And they are going to get elected.